Alright guys, quick little update and some strategy information. Looking at a bunch of stuff here, some workouts, pulled up on the computer, and I took a lot of notes last night when it came up. So here's my recommendations. You don't have to follow them, but this is the way I recommend and some tips for tonight's workout. If you have questions when you get here, I'll be able to answer them a little bit if you're doing it here this evening. But most of the information I want to give, I'll try and give out in this video so we can, you guys know a little bit what to expect when you're coming in. So first 9 minutes, obviously that 9-minute AMRAP, we got 15 toes to bar, 10 deadlifts, 5 snatches. I'm just going to break it down per movement and what I think, and I'm going to start with the toes to bar. My opinion on the toes to bar is we watched Rich Froning last night. He started with 15, he ended up in sets of 5, and it's Rich Froning. So I don't recommend anybody going unbroken on the first set of toes to bar, period. I think that they can be 5-5-5, I think they can be 10 and 5. I don't think unbroken is a great idea. Again, if in 9 minutes, after 7 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes, Rich Froning breaks into 5s, then or 10 and 5, or he breaks at all, I feel like starting to break early is a good idea. If you think about the meat of the workout is the toes to bar, I'm not saying it's going to take up the most time, but it's the most reps throughout the workout. So think about that. Starting the way you want to finish. You know, if I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, at 8 minutes, I hope my toes to bar are 10 and 5. No reason not to start that way then. If you feel an alternate grip on the toe to bar doesn't slow you down, you feel comfortable alternating, having an overhand underhand grip on toes to bar, do it. Do an overhand grip on set 1, maybe a over under on set 2, and mix it up a little bit to help ease the grip, because we've got toe to bar deadlift snatches, so we're hanging onto a bar the entire workout. That's really it with toes to bar. You know, get your sets in, take 3-5 seconds, get a set in, take 3-5 seconds, but I think you break it up early. First set. Deadlift is light, but that's typically an issue with people, so we make sure, probably even more importantly, that the back is tight, I'm set up, and things are like I'm hitting a 1 rep max. You know, my posture is perfect. Alternating grip as well. 115 is a weight, 75 is a weight. Guys and girls that can overhand grip and be fine with it, but remember it's 9 minutes and it's super grip intensive. Break from the start if you need to. A 6 and 4 deadlifts is not going to be a big deal. 3 to 5 seconds every round is not going to be that big of a deal. With the rounds you're looking at, you know, Rich Froning got 7 plus, 7 plus 15. So, you know, you look 6 rounds, 3 to 5 seconds. You know, I don't think it's a big deal as far as hitting a huge fatigue instead of hitting a huge fatigue. So break if we need to. Rest at the top, just a half second. You know, half second squeeze at the top instead of rushing back down. Make sure that posture's set up. Just not more than a split second. You know, you obviously don't want to hold on to the bar longer than you have to. The third movement, snatch. You know, with the snatch, we got to drop our hips. We got to hook grip. We got to keep that posture good. Initiate a little bit of the quads by dropping those hips a little bit, because you know you got to keep in mind we've got a 1 rep max. So per round of workout, we've got 15 pulling from the ground every round. So I want to try as best as possible to have that form correct. So going into the 1 rep max, I'm fatigued, but I may not be toast or injured or just a too much pull on the low back. I've split it up into seconds and numbers and all this stuff in 5 rounds and 6 rounds. If you just want quick info, 5 rounds is a minute 40 a round, about 3.5 seconds a rep. 6 rounds is a minute 30 a round, 3 seconds a rep. You know, just as an idea. The way I want you to warm up, dynamic, shoulders and hips. I would work to something moderate, clean and jerk before you ever start, and maybe 1 power snatch at 135 for the guys, 95 for the girls. 1 power snatch, maybe a little bit heavier than what I'm going to do in the WOD, and a moderate clean and jerk, so I have a little bit of that shoulder, a little bit of that muscle memory of a clean and jerk before I ever start. As far as the way to set it up, just know what you're going to go with for your clean and jerk, so I can have the weights around the bar. I'm personally going to set up weights and stuff around everybody's bar, but move them around, get what you want. For right when the workout is over, you should know what's going on, because you're going to have, so now we're going to talk about the clean and jerk just a second. You have 3 lifts, maybe 4. The first lift needs to be under what you think it needs to be. Make sure it is a given lift. For example, I think I'm just going to go 185 on lift 1, because I know I can power clean it. If I have to squat clean it, I can. I know I can jerk it. I think 185 is just a solid number, so go with something you know is not going to get your score all awesome, but something you know you're not going to miss, but you don't miss on the first one. I would wait a minute after the Metcon to hit your first lift. That doesn't mean to start loading your bar. Load up your bar as soon as possible, and that's where that plate organization beside the bar, wrist straps, whatever, you got a minute to do it. So you need to try to recover, belt on if you need a belt on, bar, plates on the bar, clips on the bar, prior to that first lift, but just making sure I deep breaths, my torso stays nice and tall when I'm setting the weights up. I guess which brings me back to the Metcon. This is not a Metcon that at 8 minutes you're thinking, oh sweet, I got a minute left, I'm going to push it to that 92%. If you go to that place in the last minute trying to push out some reps, I'm not saying don't go hard, but if you go to that place, there's a fine line if you go over it that you won't recover for your clean and jerk. So just keep in mind that last minute, I'm not telling you to slow down, but don't do a typical, it's a 9-minute AMRAP, because it's a 9-minute AMRAP, but it's a 15-minute. So just keep that in mind. I'll have everybody's heat set up for the night. We'll have 15-minute heat, 5 minutes in between heat. We should have plenty of time. Again, this will warming up for this workout is 15-20 minutes. And you should have plenty of time when you get here or in between heats. I think that's it. Also with the clean and jerk, what I think you can judge by is, I think if your technique is there, you can look at a 90%, about 90% of what your 1 rep max is. After fatigue, maybe more, maybe less, but that's just a good ballpark to think about. Hey, I'm going to try to hit 90%, so maybe lift 1 really light, lift 2 heavier, lift 3 maybe my 90%. If I get time and I hit the 90%, maybe I can go a little heavier. Again, just suggestions. Make sure you have a plan when you commit in. With what I've just given you now, a plan for the workout, a plan for what weights you're going to go for on the lifts. Alright guys, see you tonight.